to more serious things, I haven't asked you. Are you still standing for the Parramatta Leagues Club board?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Well, look, an email's come in. I've got to deal with it. It's about rumours on social media. This is the best of all time. That Mark Riddell is standing for the board of the Parramatta Leagues Club, and he does that with my blessing because he actually phoned me and said, would it be a problem if I did? And I says, no, do it. It's your business. If you want to do that, do that. The rumour being spread through social media is that Mark Riddell is there because I'm paying him. This is one of the best.
You are?
Yeah, I'm paying him to stand for the board to try and dislodge nothing. To dislodge the current board. Well, to the imbecile writing that, two things. I don't care who's on the Parramatta board. I really don't. Dennis Fitzgerald is the godfather to one of my children, has been a mate of mine for going on for 30, 35 years. But I've got to ask this question, seeing that it's been raised by the emailer. Answer the question is for the social media types. No, I'm not paying Mark Riddell to stand for the board. Mark Riddell, out of courtesy, before he nominated, phoned me and said, would it create a problem if I stood for the board as far as my job at the continuous call is concerned? And I said, no, it doesn't. Bob, of course, has a connection with Manly. If Darryl decided he wanted to stand for the board at Penrith or Canterbury, his old clubs, I wouldn't have an objection to that. And if Bob wanted to stand for the board, I wouldn't have an objection to that. In fact, people are free to do what they want to do, apart from where they work. Anyway, the emailer says the current 4-member board has ruled the following strong opposition club members ineligible for various reasons. They are Ray Price, Lawrence Shepherd, who was a board member and they've excluded him for some bizarre reason, Dennis Fitzgerald, who they say was sacked for misbehaviour, and Ben Smith. Fitzgerald wasn't sacked. He got a payout, I think a 6-figure payout, and was allowed to keep the car by the previous board for another 9 months, so I don't know where they go from. But it does appear, the emailer says, the board led by Mr Sharp and a bloke called Tom Issa. Look, I don't know Mr Issa, but I find him just contemptible. I don't like him at all, and I don't know him, I don't want to know him. They appear to be wanting to hang on to the positions. Now, I interviewed Bill Moss recently on my Saturday morning show, and Bill Moss wanted to set up a bit like the thoroughbreds in Brisbane, a group of business people, to actually make sure that there was money coming in for third-party groomers, which is quite legal. And one of the board members I've mentioned said, well, hang on a sec, you could be really powerful and you could take over the board. And Mr Moss said, well, actually, I could take it over any time I wanted to, really. But no, I'm not interested. Mr Moss, of course, suffers from a terminal illness, and he's a lover of Parramatta. He grew up in Guildford. So would you believe this dysfunctional board headed up by Stephen Sharp and the equally dysfunctional Tom Issa told Mr Moss they didn't want him anymore. Now, how do I know that? Mr Moss told me on air. Mr Moss told me, one of Australia's leading business people was told by the Parramatta board they didn't want his help. So it's rumoured that members of the board are there as puppets to another member of the board. But at the end of the day, the answer to the question is, do I support Mark Riddell being a member of the Parramatta Leagues Club board? If he wants to be, good luck to him. Am I paying him to do it? No, I'm not. Would I pay anyone to do it? No, I wouldn't. Have I ever got involved in that? No, except from supporting Dennis Fitzgerald, whom I still support now. Now, I believe Stephen Sharp is a very, very good man, but unfortunately he's completely out of his depth in terms of business acumen, and they need business people on the board. I believe there are other people there who aren't such good people on the board. You can make your own assessment on who they might be. But let me say to you that if Mark Riddell's name is on a ticket for the Leagues Club elections at Parramatta, I would fully support that ticket, and I don't know who else is on the ticket. But anyone bar the current board, that's who I'd support. Because while the previous board was dysfunctional and in some ways acted, I think, improperly, the current board are a bunch of nincompoops. 131873 is the open line number, 2gb.com, and it would be very good for Mr Sharp, Mr Easter and others to stop putting rumours about me paying Mark Riddell to be on the board. If he beats you, gentlemen, he'll beat you on his own merits, because he'll do the job better than you, along with his ticket. 131873, 2gb.com. Click on the feedback icon if you'd like to join us. I mentioned a name there at the Parramatta Leagues Club elections, Ben Smith, who obviously has had a long career with the club. I don't know Ben, apart from calling him as a footballer. I'd probably have met him a few times, but I wouldn't class him as a friend or probably even an acquaintance. He would know me better than I know him. But an email has just told me that he's been stood down from standing for the board because recently he invoiced the club for a corporate function to the tune of $300 as a private contractor. In other words, they got him there to do a private function. He invoiced them. And someone decided after accepting his nomination that because he is, quote, an employee of the club, he can't stand for the board election, which, I mean, what it tells me is Mr Sharp and Mr Issa and the rest of them there are running scared. It seems like they want to eliminate the opposition via stealth. The bloke did one job, I'm told, invoiced them for the job he did. That would make him a contractor, not an employee, I would think. But you see what they do, they rule them ineligible knowing that Mr Fitzgerald or Ben Smith have to take the matter to the Supreme Court. Mr Rees and Mr Sharp would use the club's resources to defend their position, costing them individually nothing, while Fitzgerald and Smith would have to dip into their own pockets to fund a $20, $30, $40 or $50,000 litigation to get themselves reinstated. So they do it.
So we are talking about the football club here, or the Leagues Club.
The Leagues Club. The football club doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, okay, right.
It's a Leagues Club which runs everything. 131873 is the open line number, 2GB.com. Click on the feedback icon if you would like to.